A very warm welcome in the class of function of several variables, where today's topic is partial derivatives. Myself Rupak Bhattacharjee, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, GIS College of Engineering. In this topic, if you take these two terms separately, then both the things are known to you. You find what is the meaning of derivatives, you know it, you have applied it from your class 11-12, and we have also have the idea of the term called partial, means it is not in total, but what is the relationship of these two terms together. We are going to introduce this new concept for this new platform of function of several variables, where the concept of partial variables, partial derivatives appears and have huge importance. So, what are the prerequisites we have for the discussion of partial derivatives? Obviously, the first one is the idea of function of single variables, because always we are going to relate the discussion in the function of several variables with function of single variables. And then we need the concept of limit as well as the concept of continuity of function of single variable as well as function of several variables, which was discussed in the last class. So along with these prerequisites, we are proceeding further for our discussion of partial derivatives. As we have stated that we are going to relate it with function of single variables, we can easily recall that for a function fx of single variable, the derivative at x equal to a from definition is nothing but f dash a is equal to limit h tends to 0 f of a plus h minus fa by h. If this limit exists, then obviously the derivative of f at x equal to a exists, and this is nothing but physically the instantaneous rate of change of f at a. So what is f? Where is a? So at a, fa is changing, fx is changing, but at a, what is the change? You have to measure what is the rate of that change. That is nothing but the physical interpretation of derivative. Okay. And we also know that it is nothing but equal to the slope of the tangent line. This is the tangent line at fa, and this is nothing but the slope. And we know that how to denote it in general. We are denoting it by dy dx, or actually it is nothing but ddx of y, where y is equal to fx. Now what is partial derivative? We also have some pictorial representation of partial derivative, but before that I just want to state one line, that if we are having instead of single variable a single point x0 on the x-axis, here on the xy plane it will be x0 y0 the point, and this point is nothing but the domain of the function fxy, and the vertical plane y equal to y0 will cut the surface z equal to fxy in the curve z equal to fxy. So now we need the figure so that it will be easier for us to relate. First of all, we are representing the physical phenomena and then we are going to the definition. So this is the surface. I think it is very much visible for you. This is your surface. Z equal to fxy. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, means this is your xy plane. So this is your x0, y0. So this is the point which is f of x0, y0 because this is your fxy. Now think, if we are considering the vertical axis in the plane y is equal to y0, this is your y0, this is your xy plane, this is your origin, and this is your y0, y at y0. Now what you are doing, you are considering y equal to y0, this vertical plane, okay, and this vertical plane is going to intersect this surface, and this is the intersecting curve in the blue line, what you see. Now the projection of pxy f of x0 y0, this point, this one is your x0 y0, and it will be again on this blue line, which is nothing but the intersecting curve of y equal to y0 plane with z equal to fxy surface. Now at this point, if you draw a tangent, this will be your tangent line, this one. The partial derivative is actually measuring the change for fixed y in x direction. Whenever I am defining it for fixed y in x direction, that means it will must have the idea for fixed x in y direction. So first of all, we have to understand any one of them. Then we can extend the idea in the alternation of one variable, one independent variable to another independent variable. So what you see, that the partial derivative is defined, partial derivative of what? The whole function fxy. But with respect to whom? First one we are taking at x. And this is defined as limit h tends to 0. Please concentrate. F x0 plus h comma y0. So this is your x0, this is your x0 plus h because this is the increment in the x direction. But y is equal to y0 is fixed, so it is x0 y0. It is x0 minus h y0. This is x0 plus h y0. At this point the functional value is here, and at fx0 the functional value is here. Now if this h tends to 0, that means this point will tend to x0 y0 and this curve will tend to be the tangent line of this one. So this limiting value is nothing but the partial derivative of f with respect to x, and it should be specified that the notation, because students are making sometimes this confusion, it is not d, it is del x of f. Clear? In case of single variable functions, we are writing it is as d dx, but here we are writing as del x. Please be cautious when you are using these notations, because in some cases we need both the notations del and d in a single problem. So what you are trying to mention has to be properly mentioned. So what about the interpretation of this partial derivative of f with respect to x is nothing but the change of the function with respect to x keeping y as constant. So The reverse one will be this one, that the partial derivative of fxy with respect to y will be nothing but the change of the function with respect to y direction, keeping x constant. That is why this h is added with y0, but x0 is kept as constant, and the pictorial representation gives us the alternation of the previous one. That look at this is your x-axis, this is your y-axis. We are keeping x equal to x0 fixed. This is your x equal to x0 plane, and this blue line is the intersecting curve of this x equal to x0 plane along with this surface, and we are taking the incremental change of y0. So it is y0 plus k, it may be y0 minus k, and this k when tends to 0, then y0 plus k tends to y0. That means x0 comma y0 plus k, this point will tend to x0 y0, and this directional change along with this y-axis is the partial derivative of fxy with respect to y. Now, how to calculate this is a very important thing, but before that, visualization is more important. So now if you want to combine them, means if you are trying to observe the change of x as well as the change of y simultaneously, then what is the case? So I think you can recall that this is nothing but the partial derivative of f with respect to x, and this is nothing but the partial derivative of f with respect to y. And if you combine them, then what is the picture? So this is very important. Look at this. You please compare this x-axis similar to this x-axis, this y-axis similar to this y, and this z1, this z1, and this z1 same. Now if this is your surface, whole surface, this is the part what is analyzed here, this is the part what is analyzed here. Now we are going to analyze the whole thing. So this is the plane y equal to y0, this is the plane x equal to x0, and this is the point x0 y0, and this is the surface z equal to fxy. Now look at this, the curve z f of x0 comma y in the plane x equal to x0, and similarly the curve z f x comma y0 in the plane y equal to y0. Okay, and this is one tangent line like this one, and this is the another tangent line like this one. This tangent line has slope fx, this tangent line has slope fy. So I want to share one information also with you, that this is another notation f suffix x, which is nothing but del f del x. So for simplified notation, sometimes fx is used for del f del x, so obviously fy will be used for del f del y. So this is the combined figure of partial derivative of f with respect to x and with respect to y. So what we get now as the calculation part of this problem. So first problem is asked that we have to find out the partial derivative of f with respect to x and partial derivative of f with respect to y at the point 4 comma minus 5, where fxy is given as x square plus 3xy plus y minus 1. So the definition and the concept gives us that when we are trying to find out the partial derivative with respect to x, we have to keep everything other than x as constant. We have to treat everything other than x has to be constant. So x square with respect to differentiation with respect to x is 2x. 3xy, 3 is constant, y will be treated as a constant, and x will be differentiated with respect to x, so it will be 1. So it is 3 into 1 into y. Then y will be treated as a constant, so differentiation of a constant is 0. 1 is a constant, so it is 0. So finally we get the expression as 2x plus 3y as the partial derivative of f with respect to x. And after getting successfully this expression, we will just substitute the value of x as 4 and y as minus 5 in this expression. So we get it as 2 into 4 plus 3 into minus 5 is the value as minus 7. Clear? But del f del y is also asked. So what will be del f del y? Del f del y will be partial differentiation of x square with respect to y. So x2 will be treated as a constant, so it will be 0. Plus 3xy, so 3x will be treated as a constant and y after differentiation with respect to y is 1. Then plus y after differentiation with respect to y will be 1 and minus 1 as a constant will be converted to 0. So what we get as 3x plus 1. Now what is asked? Find out del f del y at 4 comma minus 5. So putting this value in this expression, we get 3 into 4, 12 plus 1, and as there is no y in the expression, we will know use of minus 5 on the final calculation of del f del y. So del f del y is achieved as 13. So proceeding for the next problem, we get that we have to find out del f del y where f is given as y sin xy. So as we have to find out del f del y, we have to treat x as a constant and f as the product of y and sine of xy. So look at this. Here we are using the same idea what we are actually using for the function of single variables. Del f del y will be this. It is just from definition. Now look at this. It is uv form. So y is kept as constant and del y of sine xy is written. Then sin xy is kept as constant and del y is written. So it is nothing but the application of uv form. After that we are going to apply the concept of partial differentiation. So del y of sin xy. How to find it out? We are writing it as y as it was and del of sine function. So it will be cos function. So del y of sin xy will be cos xy. But this cos xy, this xy will be again differentiated, because if you recall the problems of, suppose if we are differentiating sine x square with respect to x, what you get? For this sine you are writing cos x square, but this x square is again differentiated and you are writing 2x. In the same manner you are doing this, you are differentiating sine xy, you are writing cos xy, but again you have to differentiate xy with respect to y partially. So del y of xy is written, and this is sine xy, del of y is 1. So y cos xy, del y of xy, x will be treated as a constant because you are doing the partial differentiation with respect to y, and x will be taken outside, del y of y will be 1. So from this part you are getting actually only x. This x is coming outside. So x into y into cos xy plus sin xy. This is as simple as that. So your job is to practice, practice and practice to be confident on this calculation, because once it has started partial differentiation, you will see that each and every problem of this module will be having the idea of partial differentiation. Now the next example, here we are asked to find out the partial differentiation of f with respect to x as well as partial differentiation of f with respect to y. As you see in the last problem, we have used the differentiation of product rule, that means UV. Here we are going to see that we are applying U by V. So that is why the problem, what you get here, is of the form of f of xy is 2x by y plus cos x. So this 2y by y plus cos x, it will give us the indication that we need u by v rule. U by v rule gives us that if we are thinking for first partial differentiation with respect to x, the lower part will be squared, so y plus cos x is squared. Then lower part is kept as it was, upper part, that means numerator, is going to be differentiated partially with respect to x, so del x of 2y is written. Then numerator is kept as it was, then del x of denominator will be done. Now the beauty is that without multiplying this, we get that del x of 2y, because y will be treated as a constant if you are doing partial differentiation with respect to x. So del y of 2y will be 0 and y plus cos x will be kept as it was, and then it is minus 2y, and del x of y is 0 but del x of cos x is minus sign, so it is minus sign. So something multiplied by 0 is vanished, minus minus plus 2y sin x, and this is the answer. Now with x held constant, that means for proceeding for the next case, while calculating fy, that means partial differentiation of f with respect to y, we will do the same process, that means the division rule, but keeping that information in our mind that we have to treat x or x related terms as constant while we are doing the partial differentiation of the function with respect to y. Just keeping this information in our mind and doing the calculation properly using the tools in a proper manner, we can solve each and every problem related to partial differentiation. So it is not required at all, I think, that how and why we are getting this. It is just the denominator is kept as it was, and the numerator is differentiated with respect to y. The numerator is kept as it was, and the denominator is differentiated partially with respect to y. And after simplification, we get this answer as 2 cos x by y plus cos x whole square. Now the next problem is the calculation of del x of z. The thing is that this is the difference of the problem from the previous two. In the previous two cases, the problems are like this. Z is a function of x and y. So you get the functional expression containing x and y only. That means you can separate z is equal to this. But here, look at the problem. The problem is not the explicit expression of z. Instead of that, z is combined with one independent variable. Z is having some functional expression like log z is equal to xy. So this defines z as a function of two independent variables, and the partial derivative exists. Our solution will be, we have to differentiate both sides of the equation with respect to x, holding y constant, because our requirement is del z del x. So it is not at all required that you have to write z is equal to function of x and y in explicit form and then you are start doing that partial differentiation. Rather, you can also think for the direct partial differentiation of left hand side, right hand side simultaneously. So what we get, del x of yz minus del x of log z is equal to del x of x plus del x of y. How we are applying this? Because it is nothing but the linearity property. Now this del x of yz, how we are writing it? When we are thinking about y will be treated as a constant, so y will come out, y is out, and del z del x is written. In visualization, you are seeing that it is z, so there is no x in it, so z is also treated as constant. If you think so, you are making a big mistake, because here z is the dependent variable. Z is a function of x and y, so z is having x within it implicitly, so you can't claim that partial differentiation of z with respect to x is 0 as z is constant. Then there is no question of giving this problem. So this is one problem which is, rather than a problem, it is one alarm to you, that please concentrate on the classification of dependent variable and independent variable. Clear? Okay. So del z del x is kept as it was, then minus del x of log z. So obviously it will be 1 by z, and according to the balancing requirement it is del z del x, because log z will be 1 by z only when it were differentiating it with respect to z. But we are not differentiating it with respect to z. Our requirement is to differentiate it with respect to x. So for adjustment, we are initially differentiating it with respect to z, and that is why del z is coming, del z del x. Then is equal to 1 plus 0, and then we can take common 1 del z del x, and we can take 1 y by y minus 1 by z as the denominator, or you can just take the LCM of this one, so yz minus 1, the adjustment, for adjustment z will be coming in the numerator. So the calculation is not tough. The important thing is to keep this symmetry in our mind, that what we are differentiating with respect to whom, and what is the characteristic of that particular thing. So now we are having the next example. This example 5 asks us that the plane x equal to 1 intersects the paraboloid z is equal to x square plus y square in a parabola. We have to find out the slope of the tangent to the parabola at 1.2.5. So look at the figure first. This is our paraboloid. Okay, z is equal to x square plus y square. This one, this shape, and our plane x equal to 1 is this one. Look at this x-axis, y-axis, z1, and this is the increment of 1 from x-axis 0 0, and this is the plane x equal to 1, and this cuts this paraboloid and creates one parabola. You can see this curved line, which is nothing but the parabola. Okay, so what is the question? First of all, we have this paraboloid, then we have x equal to 1 plane. This x equal to 1 plane intersects this paraboloid to create z equal to create this parabola in this blue line. Okay, now our requirement is to find out the slope of the tangent to the parabola at 125. This is the parabola, and on this parabola, as this parabola is on the space, this 125 is on this particular point. This one is x part, because x equal to 1. This plane, on this plane, this parabola is there, so x will always 1, and 2 and 5 are there. Okay, so the value of y is 2, and if you put 2 and 1 in the parabola x square, paraboloid x square plus y square, so you will get z equal to 5. So obviously this point, this surface will be having 1, 2, 5, this coordinates. Now the requirement is that along this point, the tangent what is drawn, we need to find out the slope. The question is big, the understanding is bigger, the graphical representation is biggest, and the calculation is the easiest. Because the calculation is nothing but the slope of the value of the partial derivative del z del y at 1. Okay. So del z del y is a very easy calculation of this one. We will get it as 2y, and the value is 1, and the point is 1 comma 2, because at xy plane is 1 comma 2 is the point, because 5 is generated by 1 comma 2, and putting this we will get 4. As a check, we can treat the parabola as the graph of the single variable function, and already we can check that dz dy is equal to dy of 1 plus y square if you just differentiate it with respect to y, and we will get it 2y, and which is nothing but if you put y equal to 2, this 4 means this check is nothing but that instead of visualizing this from the several variables concept, if only this parabola is given and if it is asked to find out the slope of the tangent at 1 2, then what you are doing, you are just adding some surfaces, you are adding some ornaments on that particular part, and you are upgrading the concept from the plane to space, but ultimately the value remains same because you are asking the same question in different manner. And the function of more than two variables means function of three variables, we also have the same concept. In that case, we have to differentiate it with respect to all the independent variables. So if we have a problem like this, that if x y z all are independent variables and the expression is something like that, then if we have to differentiate partially with respect to x, we will do it. If you have to differentiate it with respect to partially y, you can do it, and similarly for z, you can do it. So for del z, x and y will be treated as constant. That is why x is taken as outside, and sine of y plus 3z will be cos of y plus 3z, and y plus 3z will be partially differentiated with respect to z, and you will get y plus 3z if you differentiate it partially with respect to z, it will be only 3. So 3 is outside, so 3x cos y plus 3z will be the answer. So this is nothing but the extension. So finally, we are having another application oriented example where it is having the resistors R1, R2 and R3 ohms are connected in parallel, and this is the circuit diagram of them. And you can see as a student of engineering background that it is nothing but the engineering application of this particular discussion, and it can be found that the equation 1 by r is equal to 1 by r1 plus 1 by r2 plus 1 by r3 as it is connected in parallel. So to find out del r2, we will treat r1 and r3 as constant. To find out at the value of r1 equal to 30, r2 equal to 45, r3 equal to 90, we will, after calculating this, we will just substitute them and we will get the value. The calculation is not so tough, but important part is that the application of this discussion in your field, and mathematics will help you to apply these things in an easier manner. So this is having twofold application. First one, to understand this thing in the mathematical language, as well as to make it faster with the help of tools and tricks of mathematics. So we are now going to start the second order partial derivatives, because this is nothing but the extension of second order derivative of single variable. It is del 2f del x2, or notation is fxx, same thing, just you have to keep this one is here, one partial derivative, then another partial derivative, and the combination of them. But what I want to emphasize, that the defining equations of this one is what I have stated, it is also given over here. And also if you want to differentiate partially one x and y both, then you can get this one. I want to emphasize on the part here that The example is asking for partial derivative of f with respect to x twice, partial derivative of f with respect to y twice, partial derivative of f with respect to x first then y, and partial derivative of f with respect to y first then x. I want to emphasize on these two parts, whether they are going to be same or not. So you can calculate it, because it is discussed, you can calculate it, but these are needed to go for the next steps, because we are going to differentiate them partially according to the requirement one more time. So del 2f del y del x is this, and del 2f del x del y is again this. What I want to emphasize is that, look at this, here we are differentiating partially with respect to x first, then partially with respect to y. But here we are differentiating partially with respect to y first, then we are differentiating it with respect to x. But in both the cases, the expressions are same. When they are same, what are the problems you are going to face? You will see that in all the cases they are same. But there is also a very important information. We are going to just share the information with you. But before that, del 2f del x2 is calculated in the same manner, x and one more time, similarly y and one more time by y. This mixed derivative theorem, what we are actually emphasizing, that when they are same, it is not actually a coincidence. We have this information that if fxy and its partial derivatives, all fx, fy, fxy, fyx are defined throughout an open region containing a point AB and all are continuous. This is the point what we are emphasizing. All are continuous. Then the order is not important, whether you are differentiating it partially with respect to x first then y, or first with respect to y first then x. It is not important, you will get the same result. So we are now concluding this class by giving you these assignments. You will get the assignments where you get some problems with two variables in some cases, and in some cases you will get three variables, independent variables. Solve all those problems, and these are the references we have used to prepare this particular lecture. Finally, I want to thank you all. Happy listening, happy learning.